We are 25 days into August and I have made almost $25,000 so far freelance brand scaling. I've been doing this for around a month and I've scaled my agency well over 6 figures. And if you guys don't know, I learned how to run ads and started my freelance brand scaling journey, all because I started my clothing brand 4 years ago, which now is well past 6 figures. We're just crossing the $500,000 mark. And around a year and a half ago, I got into brand scaling. We are now doing around $20,000 to $30,000 a month. And I'm here to go ahead and teach you every single little detail that I know about freelance brand scaling. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the very, very basics, and it's building a good personal brand. You need to have a good profile if you wanna get clients quick. Now, obviously, by joining this mentorship program, you do get put on a client, and I am a true believer as it's very hard to go ahead and get clients without results. So that's when you could go ahead and create a fake result, which I'll go ahead and explain later in the course. But the second best option is to create a personal brand. Now, let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm gonna show you guys the most notorious figure in the brand scaling space, Brett Scales. So here we are with Brett Scales. As you can see, he does show off the lifestyle a little bit, but he does have a story highlight where it's just all his marketing. And as you can see here, he literally has all his results from his marketing agency all the way when he started out almost 2 years ago, or around actually exactly 2 years ago now. I'm just building his highlights. So as you can see, the social proof is there. And then he has an extremely good story highlight for his lifestyle page as well. He's showing off his life. He's showing off his cars, his fits, his travel, everything, right? And I actually have the same exact thing. So if you go ahead, you click on my account, you go ahead, you see the car, you see my car, you see everywhere I travel. Like I was literally just in LA at the time of filming this. And this is crazy. People are gonna see this and be like, damn, this kid's actually legit, right? And when they go ahead, they try to dive deeper and deeper, they're gonna see this highlight. This is my testimonials highlight, right? Now this is from my past students. So as you can see, Addergirl, if you're watching this, props to you. Also, Aiden, if you're watching this, props to you. But I have some students talking about the program, their experience, blah, blah, blah. Now, if we go over here, these are my results from a while ago. As you can see, I have so many on my marketing for my old clothing brand. And then I have another results highlight right here with my other clients. Like this is one of my clients, his name is AJ. AJ, shout out to you. He literally made 11 bands in one day, which is literally crazy. And then more and more results. And then we obviously have my story highlights as well, literally just showing off my lifestyle, showing everywhere I traveled, blah, blah, blah. But lifestyle isn't really everything, right? It's extremely important and the results are extremely important, but you also need to be posting educational content as well. And you know who does this really, really well? My boy Dan, actually. So if we go to Dan's YouTube, you can literally see almost every single one of his videos is how to start freelance brand scaling, how to run ads for freelance brand, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, you're not gonna be posting this type of content. You're going to be posting more content like me, right? You're gonna be posting how I turn $0 to $11,000 a week. Here's another video, how to sell at your clothing brand drop, how to pack and ship your orders, how to make a tech pack, just stuff like that to get people to go ahead and hit you up to go ahead and scale your brand, because you could see what you're gonna go ahead and talk about really, really helps. This is gonna get a lot of people on your profile and it's gonna get people a lot more enticed to actually go ahead and buy from you or go to your agency. So as you saw, building your profile is extremely important. And now we're actually gonna go ahead and go into how to actually find your first client. All right, boys, now that we know that building a huge personal brand is extremely important for getting clients, now we're gonna talk about the 3 strategies that I love to use to go ahead and get clients the easiest way possible. So with that being said, let's go to the computer. And method 1, we're gonna talk about hashtag hunting. Now this is low-key my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. All you're gonna do is go into Instagram right here, go into the search bar and type in, you could either type in hashtag clothing brand, hashtag streetwear, or whatever type of niche you're in. You could even type in hashtag mesh shorts, hashtag basketball shorts. But for me personally, I just like to type in hashtag clothing brand just for the sense of this video. Now, as you could see all of these potential brands right here. Yes, they all look the same, but this is very good because it all shows that they have potential. I actually really like these jorts right here. So we could go ahead and click on the account. Now, they don't really have a lot of followers, which is really good because the piece is hard and they have a decent amount of content. Now, how can we actually find out if this client is actually good or not? We could go ahead and go on their reels. We could see what type of views they're getting, right? They make solid content because they only have 1.6K followers, but they're getting 4, 3, 2,000 views a video. Right, so if we go ahead and click on this, I'm assuming with the sound, I mean, let's see. We could really turn this into an ad. And if they have a solid offer with the pants, this could genuinely work. Now, this is a great client to potentially hit up, and he can make you a lot of money. Now, when you're searching for a client, this is the criteria that I recommend. First off, they should only have 1 to 10K followers. This is going to be, decently hard to reach them, but if you actually do, 1 is going to be super cool because you get to build them from the ground up. And if you do that, they're most likely going to stay loyal to you forever. And 2, if they're doing well organically, which doing well is getting more views and more likes than the more followers they have, they're more than likely than not going to do very good with paid ads. Now, going back to the content side, you really need them to get just minimum 1 to 2K views a video. If they're crossing that bridge every single video, then it's most likely a good brand as well. And if the brand is stuck in that 200 to 500 view mark, it just means their brand is kind of ass and their content sucks. Now, let's just say you don't know if this brand is running ads or not. Luckily for you, you can actually go ahead and type in the meta ads library. Now, what I actually want to do, I'm going to go ahead and type this brand in the meta ads library, and I can see if they're running ads. So we click add category, all ads, and we'll copy this brand right here. And obviously their Instagram pops up because they do have an account. As you can see, this account is running 0 ads. So this would be very good to go ahead and help them out, especially once you have your personal brand kind of built up. They're more than likely than not going to respond back to you when you cold DM them. Now, Meta Ads Manager is literally a cheat code because you don't want to waste your time with brands who are already running ads. Like you'll be able to tell if a brand is working with a brand scaler or working with the team or not just by the ads that they're running. So Verda Clothing was actually an extremely good example. That was literally the first one I saw too. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit them up. If you guys want to steal my client, hey, that's fair game. Now, the second method is the burner account. Now, for me personally, my burner account is my clothing brand account. If you don't have a clothing brand, you're obviously going to go ahead, make a new account, interact with a bunch of clothing brands, just so you could go ahead and get your whole algorithm to be on clothing brands. So as you could see right here, my explore page is literally all clothing brands. Every single post is a clothing brand. So when I look at this, what I'll do, let's just say, I'm gonna go ahead and pick a brand real quick. This brand actually has a lot of potential. What I'll do, literally just press share, send that joint to my account, and I'll go ahead and DM them from there. So I'll usually do that almost every day. Now I have a team to do this for me, but I'll have them pick out 25, 50 brands a day, and then I'll go ahead and send a quick voice message. Yo, what's good, bro? I saw you're actually not running ads right now, blah, 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 blah. Me personally, since my clothing brand page has been built up for around 3 years, I love the burner account method, but I think the easiest way to go is definitely that TikTok hashtags for sure. Now, the best method possible is the TikTok to Instagram bridge. Now, basically what this is you find a brand that's posting a lot on TikTok and is doing really, really well on TikTok, but you click on their Instagram and they literally have nothing on their Instagram. Those are the type of brands that are gonna sign like that. Now, this is like almost a guaranteed client, but they're pretty hard to find nowadays because Instagram is literally king and TikTok is kind of dying down for clothing brands. Back then, like 6 months ago, that was actually the method. Honestly, if I were you, I would stick to methods 1 and 2. Now we're actually gonna go ahead and head into the DM script. Actually gonna go ahead and show you guys on my phone. So I'm gonna put screen recording, it should be going as you see. I'm on the Messy account. I send this brand to my other page. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to Jakey Ecom. I'm gonna go ahead, click on Messy Shop. I'm gonna go ahead, click on the brand. First, let's actually see if they're on the meta ads library. So I could go like this and I could type this in real quick. Right here, they clearly have no ads running. This is perfect because their brand is actually hard. My students literally follow them right now. Aiden, if you're watching this, shout out to you. But they have some pretty solid flannels, some pretty solid tees, some jorts. So I'm gonna go ahead and message them right now. So as you can see attached right here, this is the first thing I say. Yo, what's good? I've been following you up for a while. Specific piece is tough AF. So I'm gonna say that cross tee is tough AF. Now, if I just DM the brand page, I don't say the name, obviously. I just go, yo, what's good, bro? So here we go. I wrote it out. I say, yo, what's good, bro? Been seeing you out for a while. The cross tee is hard AF. I help brands like you scale revenue with Facebook ads and email marketing. No upfront costs. I only get paid if you make money. So I go ahead and I send them this. Let's just say they actually go ahead and DM me back. Boom, I'll go ahead and send them a voice message. What I'll basically say is, cool, bro, blah, blah, blah. I'll ask them 3 questions, right? The first question is just to kind of get to know them a little bit. How long have they been running the brand? 2 is actually, have they ever tried to run paid ads? Or if they're running paid ads, I already know this beforehand, but I'm really gonna try to actually get to know them before we actually hop on a call. And 3rd, I ask for their daily ad budget. Now this works really well to try to get an idea of how much you should charge them for a setup fee. Let's say they could go ahead and get away with $100, $200 a day. That is an easy $1.5 to $2,000 setup fee. Now, most brands really don't want to spend that much, so I will usually take them on a $0 setup with just 10 to 15% commission, and they could probably do $50 to maybe $70 a day in ad spend, which is completely fine for me because I'll be making money off that as well. Now, let's just say they don't respond. I say, yo, what's good, bro? Just checking in. Let me know if you're down for a quick call. And let's say a couple days pass. It is day 7. They most likely posted within the week. If not, the brand is just dead, and you know it's not a good brand to outreach to. But let's say they do post. You say, bro, saw your new post. It's tough. Have you thought about running ads for the drop? If they don't respond after that, just cut it off and go on to the next. But let's just say you actually do go ahead and get that call booked. I'm gonna show you exactly how you could book these guys and onboard them to your agency in the next video. All right, boys, now that we actually have a super warm lead, we have to go ahead and sign them. Now, when you're on the sales call, it's super important to act like a normal person, and they should be sold on the offer if they're already hopping on a call. A no setup, helping them run their ads, and you don't get paid until they make money should be a no-brainer, especially if the brand is struggling. So let's just assume that you already closed them. Now that you already closed them on the call, you're obviously going to send an agreement, which you could just make on ChatGPT. For me, I gotta stay loyal to Grok. That's just my dog. So I went ahead, you guys could go ahead and say this. I accidentally called him ChatGPT. He got a little mad at that, but that's fine. You just say, hey, ChatGPT, can you write me a 3-page written contract for my marketing agency? I need to help them with paid ads, SMS, email marketing, etc. So you obviously get the 10% revenue, no refunds, and no refunds on setup fees after 14 days. So that means if they file a chargeback or something through WAP, because some people could be assholes like that, you could go ahead, paste this in the description and paste the contract, and you will win that chargeback 10 out of 10 times. Then we have a 30-day cancellation notice, and then other important terms. As you can see, ChatGPT or Grok made this perfectly. You go ahead and scroll down. I even put it in a document for you guys. If you guys are lazy and you want to go ahead and want this, you could literally just DM me. But if you're already in this program, you could definitely make it on ChatGPT. Right, with that being said, now that you have everyone signed, there's 3 things you need to gain access to. Their Shopify, their Meta Ads Manager, and their SMS and email marketing. With that being said, let's go ahead and head to Shopify. Once we head into the settings of Shopify, we are actually going to go ahead and click users. We're going to go ahead and add users. Now, most people will most likely not have this. You could just go ahead and you'll be able to type in their email right there. You'll be able to send it, blah, blah, blah. Or if it still says this, you could go ahead and actually create a collaborator account, right? So you want to go ahead, type in Shopify partners. You go ahead and type in Shopify partners. You could go ahead and log in. Boom. Once you go ahead and log in, you will actually be able to go ahead and get a collaborator code, right? So you're going to tell the brand owner to go ahead and go through security and send you the collaborator code. So the collaborator code for my site, oh shit. Okay, wait, I just realized I got to blur this out. I'm going to go ahead and blur out the collaborator code for my store because I don't want you guys to go ahead and join that. But it should be a 4-digit code like 1234, something like that. You're going to go ahead, go into Shopify Partners, give yourself all the access and send the request. Once you do that, they should accept you and you should be added to the Shopify. Next, we actually have to go onto Meta Ads Library. All right, boys, now that we are in the Meta Ads Manager, all we need to do is just go into the settings right here. I have to type in a collaboration code, so give me a second. It's going to go ahead and it's going to take us to the settings on the Meta Ads Manager. You're going to go ahead and invite yourself right here. So this person is my my media buyer from SEM. Obviously, bring that out as well. But all you have to do, the brand owner has to go ahead and click invite people. You gotta type in your Instagram. I'll just put mine, for example. And you want to get full access. Again, full control for literally everything. Even the Instagram pages, ad accounts, catalogs, the pixel, Instagram accounts, everything, full control. Once you do that, you're going to do the review and you're going to get added to everything. You want to double check that everyone's still invited here. So an ad account, the business asset, the Instagram account. You want to make sure that every single person is added onto here. It's literally the same process here. Once you go ahead and have that added, you or the media buyer should have full access to the ad account. Next, you have to go onto OmniSend. All right, so it is very, very simple. All you're going to do is click account. You're going to click users. Then you're going to go ahead and click invite user. It's the same thing. You type in the email and then you just click admin. Now you have access to the Shopify, Meta Ads Manager, and the SMS and email software. That is the main 3 things that you actually need to go ahead and get started with this. Now we need to go ahead and run the ads. So we're going to be doing two parts here. We're going to be how to set up campaigns and how to run ads for clothing brands and how to do it for service-based and lead gen as well. So this is going to be two separate sections, right? The first one, this next video, is going to be the clothing brand. The next one is going to be lead gen. So I hope you guys have brought on your pen and papers out and written down as many notes as possible so far. And if you stayed this far, I am proud of you because now we're getting into the good stuff. Next is the scaling campaign. Now with the scaling campaign, the budget is a lot more. And these are already when the ads are, I guess you could say, tested or proven to actually be a winning creative. And then like we discussed before, if the ads are not performing well and the metrics are just doing really horrible, you just turn the ad off. Now that your scaling campaign is making more money, you're gonna ask yourself, how could I scale this even higher? Now the first way you can do this is called horizontal scaling. And if we go right here, all horizontal scaling is you're duplicating the winning ad sets and you're switching them to new regions like UK, Australia, blah, blah, blah. Next, we have vertical scaling. Now it's pretty simple. You're just gonna increase the budgets by 20% every 3 days. So let's say you start with a budget of $50. You're then gonna go ahead and go to 60, 70, 100, blah, 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 right? Lastly, we have creative refresh. All you're doing is basically testing more ads, every 14 days to combat the ad fatigue. And then you obviously want to change the copies, the headlines, the offer, etc. That's basically everything there is to e-com ads. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into lead generation ads. With that being said, you guys saw how we could run ads for clothing brands or any e-com brands in general. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the service-based businesses where we can run ads for companies like construction companies, power washing businesses, mobile detailing, etc. So lead gen, it's in the name. You're going to go ahead and you're going to generate leads for businesses. So instead of running ads to get sales, you're running ads to get meta leads. Now, the best part about lead gen is that you're not going to go ahead and take a percentage. You're going to go ahead and take a retainer. Why? Now, let's just say with e-com, right? You're going to go ahead and you're going to take some sort of rev share. With the rev share, these e-com businesses are more than happy to go ahead and give a percent and pay more upfront because their business, it's not worth as much. Like every 10K you make them, you're gonna make 1,000, which is pretty decent. But the thing is, with these mobile detailing companies, restaurants, construction companies, they're doing a lot more revenue. And with that being said, they're gonna be a little bit more uncomfortable with giving up a percentage of their company. So they would gladly go ahead and throw you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month to go ahead and just run their ads. And the best part is, as long as you're doing good for the company that you're running the ads for, you're gonna keep getting paid. And once you stack up these retainers, like let's just say retainer, you get 5 clients, a $2,000 a month retainer, that's 10K a month, right? Especially when you pair this with running ads for e-com, you could potentially make a lot of money with this business model. Now you may think for managing 5 clients is a lot. It's honestly not. Me personally, you can manage probably up to 15 clients at a time. So if you have all those clients on a $2,500 retainer, if I go on my phone, we do the math, 2,500 times 15, that's almost 40 grand a month just off retainers for service-based businesses. So if you're still with me, if you want to go ahead and hit these numbers, please listen up. Now, starting out, how do you actually go ahead and get these clients? Because 15 clients may seem like a lot, but in reality, it's not. What you're going to be doing, you are going to either be cold outreaching by DM, phone number, or email. DMs are pretty good. I usually use cold DMs for, smaller service-based businesses like mobile detailing, power washing, etc. But I usually do a lot of cold DMs for e-com brands, as I explained earlier. And then the bigger companies like construction companies, restaurants, everything like that, I will always do cold call 100% of the time. Now, with that being said, reaching out to companies through cold DM, I already explained that a lot earlier in the video. It's kind of the same script. You just want to go ahead and reword it a little bit, which I'm not going to get into because you guys literally already have the script. So go ahead, copy that, and just reword it to fit the business. Now, the thing with lead gen, it's a lot more of a grind. You're going to have to cold call and do a bunch of stuff that's tedious and requires the hours, but it ends up having, such a better return at the end, so it's worth it. Like when I was first starting my lead gen journey about 1.5 years ago, I was probably cold DMing, 2-3 hours a day, just on the phone, like, yo, blah, 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 blah. And I would have a huge list of leads that I would just go ahead and call. And it was a grind, but it was pretty much worth it. And then eventually, once I started growing my personal brand and everything like that, a lot of people started reaching out to me. So once again, building a personal brand is extremely important, one for ecom and for lead gen as well. Now you could go ahead, you could either find these businesses on Instagram, even Pinterest, Facebook, or Google. You could start off by local businesses. Now I have this screen recording from a little while back of me in my hometown, and I'm gonna go through and search up a mobile detailing business locally. I don't know how to spell, but as you could see, you could also, I'm in my hometown, please don't leak where I live, but you guys can clearly see we have all these mobile detailing companies right here, and most of the times on their website you can literally go ahead and just find their number and call them. So this is actually the first one that pops up, Mama Detailing Co. Now you're going to call them, but starting out, you really don't want to waste your time and you don't want to waste their time, right? You're trying to get as many cold calls as possible and try to sign a client as fast as possible. So when you call them, the first thing you're going to say is, hey, I'm here to pitch you something. I think it'll be extremely valuable. Can I have 30 seconds of your time? Now I know that sounds cliche, but it's actually true, and it gets rid of the time wasters. Most of the time, I'm not going to lie, it's either half and half. They're going to say yes or no. If they say yes, which honestly, they're more than likely to say yes if one, you're extremely confident, two, by the tone of your voice. So make sure you're speaking with confidence because that is key. Then you're going to go ahead and pitch. What you're going to say is, listen, I feel like I can make your whatever. I feel like I can make your mobile detailing company so much more money. I've done this for so many other businesses before. For example, we took blah, 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 whatever your result is to blah, blah, blah within a couple weeks. And I genuinely feel like I could go ahead and help you out. If you want, we could go ahead and schedule a quick meeting that is completely free for a good 15 to 30 minutes where I'll go ahead and explain where I could really help you out. And I think it would be a great opportunity for you. One, a great opportunity for me as well, because I am young, I am really trying to get after it, and I am so motivated to go ahead and make this work for you and me. So please, if you could go ahead and give me 15, 30 minutes of your time, we could go ahead and hop on a quick Zoom meeting. I could go ahead and tell you what I have to pitch, and boom, it's that simple. That's how you get them on a call. You have to sound confident, right? And you're going to be doing this 50, 100 times a day. Eventually, you're going to get 1, 2, 3 people on a Google Meet, and this is where it comes to, getting sales. But let's say you actually go ahead and sign your first client. You're going to go ahead and run their ads. Now, I'm just going to give a kind of brief preview on how to run their ads. It's going to be nothing crazy, but we're going to go ahead and click campaign, and we're actually going to go ahead and click leads. Now, Meta, like I said, has been extremely good with building their AI and everything like that. So we really don't have to do that much, right? We're also going to switch the buying type to reservation. Oh, nope, I'm tweaking. Auction leads. You don't need this. And it's literally the same thing. You're going to do it again. 3 ad sets, 3 ads per campaign, exactly in the last video. I'm not going to go into a deep dive. I'm literally just going to show you guys what's different from doing it e-com way. But with lead gen, they most likely have a bigger budget. I would try to aim for $100 a day. That's really going to get you guys, a decent amount of leads. Click next. Now this, it really depends what they have, but you're actually going to go ahead. You could take them to a website, or you could go ahead and take them to a form or messenger. It's really up to the business. What I recommend is website, and on their website, which you could literally run it to, say they have a website, this website right here, literally get a free quote, boom, they're going to get a free quote, blah, blah, blah. More leads are going to come in. It is extremely simple. And then you're obviously going to maximize the number of conversions. You're obviously getting, this is my clothing brand account. And then like I said, I'm not sure if I forgot to mention this, but you want to set the time frame from the next day at midnight. So at the time of recording this is August 14th. We're going to do it to August 15th at 12. There we go. Scroll down. Don't need any custom audience. We'll do broad targeting for now just to really see. And then in the retargeting campaigns, you'll obviously switch that. And then you can continue the website. Now we really could take this mobile detailing company as an example. It's really good. You could go ahead and pitch them on the call like I said. What I would personally do for this is a $1,500 retainer, because normally, I'm going to be honest, the average job is probably $200 to $400, really depending on the car and just the work that they do, because I'm sure they have different packages. So usually what I like to aim for is either for these mobile detailing businesses, $10 to $20 per lead. So that basically means they're spending $10 to $20 to get one single lead, which more than likely all the leads that come from mobile detailing, if they fill out, get a free quote, are more than likely than not going to convert. People usually don't waste mobile detailers and all these service-based businesses' times right? Once they get a lead, it's always warm, it's always super high quality. So if you get that, $10, $20 per lead, you're cooking and you're getting a retainer, you might get a raise, and then later on you might be able to get a percentage. But like I said, this video was super quick. I didn't want to go super into it because it's kind of the exact same as running paid ads for clothing brands. It's just a little bit of settings change. But now we're actually going to get into email and SMS marketing for clothing brands. So go ahead, stay tuned for that. Make sure you're still writing notes. Make sure you're paying attention still. And I hope you guys are doing really well with this. If you stayed this far, I'm proud of you guys. So with that being said, I'll catch you all in a minute. Now for email and SMS marketing, this is probably strictly for clothing brands. You could do it for a service-based business, but I'm gonna be honest, it's really not worth it. So with SMS marketing, again, you could go ahead and add this as an upsell. So let's just say you're doing really well for these clients as paid ads, you're taking 10%. You could be like, yo, for an extra 5%, I'll go ahead and run your paid ads and your email for you. Or you could be like, yo, for extra 500, extra $1,000 a month, I'll go ahead and run your SMS for you. Or if you're really having trouble signing this client, you could go ahead and offer it beforehand. So it's like, yeah, bro, we're gonna handle paid ads, SMS, and email marketing just for you. And I mean, more than likely than not, if you're all percentage based, there's no reason why they're not gonna sign. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into some automated email flows right now. So if I go ahead and share my screen, there's usually 3 to 5 that I like to do. I like to do the welcome series, the meet the founder, which isn't really that important, the testimonials, fourth, building some sort of hype, and then last one is like a final warning. So the welcome series is basically when someone goes ahead and joins your SMS list through your pop-up on your website. With my brand personally, I should be doing a lot more email marketing, but I'm really focused on paid ads and SMS right now. Now, like I said, I mentioned meet the founder, but I'm not gonna go ahead and explain it because I don't want you guys to go ahead and get lost with it. There's really no point to use it, I'm gonna be honest. But all it is just a little intro on your brand and everything like that. Next, we have the testimonials or the product benefits or the offer, right? So the buy two, get one free. And they have a bunch of athletes, and I guess you could call them celebrities for my stuff, like Alex Eubanks, Sharif O'Neal, and a bunch of other, D1 players. Oh, check these guys out, blah, blah, blah. Alex Eubanks wearing these blue Paisley Vesty shorts during his workout, blah, blah, blah. Now, when you actually drop, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna do 2 emails. It's pretty simple. 48 hours on your discount, so you'll have a special discount 48 hours before the drop. Usually it's 10%. You could go 15% if your margins are a little bit higher, but I wouldn't risk it. Or you could go ahead and do like, oh, the first 3 orders are free, blah, 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 something like that too. And then there's a final chance, which is just like a couple minutes before the drop. But I'm gonna be honest, like I don't take email too serious at all because what really prints is SMS. Now with SMS, you wanna go ahead and do a welcome series, which literally I just explained before, an abandoned cart checkout. So an abandoned cart checkout is basically when someone goes ahead and goes on your site and they go to their cart. They see the shipping, they see whatever, they don't like it, they're like, oh, I'll just do this later. They abandoned the items in their cart. They abandoned their cart. So a couple hours later, I'll go ahead and send a message. I usually do 3. I'll usually do an hour, a day, or like 2 weeks or something like that. And most of the time when you offer a discount at the end, so it's like, hey, you left something in your cart, make sure you go grab it. Here's an extra 5% off. Go ahead, blah, blah, blah. Use code, blah, blah. That's pretty much the basic pop-up. I can go ahead into the automations and kind of show you guys. Someone clicks the pop-up, this is what it's gonna say, welcome to Message Shop family, so glad you're here, blah, blah, blah. And this is going to be sent in a text message. Right, and the goal, to obviously to get people to sign up is to get them to use that 10% discount. So we're gonna send a message a day later, and then a week later, time is running out on your discount, but we are here to sweeten the deal for you. Valid today only. So if they haven't bought, they're gonna get this message where they get 15% off instead of 10% off, which is really cool, and I like this the most. But that's only when they go through the pop-up, which is on the website. Next, we have the abandoned cart checkout. It's pretty simple. If someone goes to buy a product, but they leave it in the cart and they don't buy, they're going to be getting this text. The thing about SMS and email, like OmniSend, PostScript, any other SMS service, they track this, which is super cool, right? So they're gonna get this text, yo, what's good? Looks like you left something in your cart. It's still waiting, grab it before it's gone. And then I'm gonna send one more day later. Here's blah, 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 finish checking out today. One more day, final reminder, your cart plus 10% off code expires soon. Go grab it while you can. Those are the 2 flows that I really like to do. And then you can send out campaigns when the brand is dropping too. So this is my strategy that works really well. We made a lot of money with this. right? So I do one an hour before the drop, on the drop day, and then a follow-up the day after. I've been testing this, a bunch of SMS strategies for over a year, and this is honestly what has the highest conversion rate. So I love to stick with this. And in order to go ahead and create your welcome series, you're actually going to go into forms and do your mobile and desktop pop-up. So desktop is obviously the one I showed you on the screen recording. It's pretty simple. You can edit, make the logo and everything like that. And then, we have the mobile pop-up too, which just looks like this, and this is going to pop up on your phone. Now, like I said, urgency is your best friend with email and SMS, but I'm going to be honest, you really don't need to focus on providing the service for SMS. You want to provide the upsell more importantly, right? Because I have people, and I have a guy, his name is Harris. He will do all the SMS for you. You can take care of that. It's like an extra couple $100 a month. And you could just charge them the retainer, right? So you could charge them a $500 retainer for SMS and email marketing, and you could hire, the SMS guy for $200 a month. You're profiting $300 a month for doing nothing, just sending 2 texts. Be like, yo, let's run this. And most of the time they're going to say yes, or you could add a percentage too. So like I said earlier in the video, you could offer a 5% upsell increase. So let's say you're taking 10%, you could upgrade that to 15% to add the SMS and email. Or you could just do like a $500. Maybe they could take in a $1,000 retainer extra, but it depends on how much the brand is making and everything like that. Most of the time, they'll just take that 5% percentage, which will still more than likely be a lot more profitable if you outsource it as well, because it does really good work. That's kind of it with SMS and email. Now we're actually going to go ahead and get to tracking and optimization. Right, so there's a couple tools that you're going to need here. You're going to, one, need the Meta Ads Manager to track your ROAS, click-through rate, your CPA, like we were talking about before. Then you want to go ahead and have Triple Whale, so a centralized dashboard for ads, email, and SMS. Now you could actually log into your Shopify. You could go in the search bar, type in the website Triple Whale. Now Triple Whale is extremely accurate, and it tracks all your metrics completely 100% accurate, as seen right here. But I'm not going to go ahead. Why would I show you guys my profit and everything like that? It wouldn't make sense. I hope you guys respect that. As you see, we have the total sales, the ads, the ROAS, like I was talking about earlier, revenue, AOV, which is average order value. So my average order value is usually $70, right? So that means every order, out of all the orders on your store, the averaged out number is your AOV, right? So with that being said, I have a buy 2, get 1 free, which kind of equals out to 70. And then I sell my shorts for $35. Usually the AOV, which I honestly get a lot of buy 2, get 1 free orders. I sometimes get some buy 3, get 2 free orders. So with that being said, my AOV will usually average out to around $65 to $70. Every single little metric is in Triple Whale, which I love. It is extremely good. I'm not going to go ahead and explain it too much. But if you run an agency, or even if you're just watching this for fun, and if you have some sort of brand, please download Triple Whale. And with reporting to your client, you could either make some big doc, or you could just literally be inside the Triple Whale. So your client's going to call you up or text you, yo, how do we do this week? All you can literally do, you can make it easier for yourself. Yo, check Triple Whale, we did this, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just going to give you guys a little hack right here. If you want to go ahead and boost your client or even your ads upsells, you could use Vanga AI or one-click upsell, to offer 10% off and everything like that. Plus, you could also use an app called Monster Cart, which I love. And then the last offer, which I would recommend using just to get that upsell, is to do free orders over $100 orders over $100 get free shipping. So I do this along with my buy 2, get 1 free as well. And it works amazing. And then, with more tracking optimization, you want to go ahead with the website fixes. So you could go ahead and upgrade your theme. Now, if you go on Shopify, there are a lot of recommended themes you can use. For me personally, starting out, if your client doesn't want to spend any money, I go ahead and recommend Dawn. Or if your client wants to go ahead and spend money, be like, yo, I have the budget for this, let me know. I want the most converting store possible. You could either use Shrine or DMX. That's a good theme as well. That's a custom one. So I don't know if that's actually on the Shopify App Store, but if you guys want a custom theme, you guys could always hit me on Instagram as well. I got y'all. So now, that was for ecom. I want to go ahead and explain lead gen a little bit for tracking and optimization. For lead gen, it's a little different. It's kind of the same thing. Like, I'm not even going to go ahead and share my screen for this. I'm just going to go ahead and explain it real quick. So instead of tracking the CPA, ROAS, everything like that, you're going to go ahead and track the cost per lead. Right now, a lot of these service-based businesses that you're generating leads for, I guess you could say like these businesses that you're running ads for, they have a much larger, I guess, room for error, right? So if you're spending 10, 30 bucks a lead, that's more than likely to not still profitable. When on the other side, if you're spending, 10 to 30 bucks, cost per purchase, you're more than likely cooked. And that's the best part about it. It's a lot easier to be profitable with lead gen than ecom. And then, like I said, we're not going to go ahead and run ads to a website to get sales. We're not running ads to a list. We are running ads to either get messages, or we're running ads to a VSL to get meta leads. And like I said, the cost could be pretty high, depending on the service. You could be spending 50, 60, bucks a lead, but more than likely than not, that's not going to happen. What I'm trying to say is that you guys have a lot higher, room and margin for error. But like I said, it really shouldn't be that hard. The main metric you want to stay in between for, I guess you could call it cost per meta lead, is $5 to probably $20. That's the sweet spot right there. You're going to be doing very good for that company. Now, for lead gen, you don't need to get into a Shopify. You don't need to get into anything like that. Your whole goal is to go ahead and get the company leads, which all you really need to log into, if the company has it, you could go ahead and log into their CRM. But other than that, you don't need to go ahead and log into anything else. And all you have to do is just run ads to their VSL. Now, with lead gen, like I said, you have a lot higher, margin for error, which is great. But there's still a chance that you become unprofitable. Now, the chance that you become unprofitable is decently rare, but to make sure you do become profitable, you need to make sure the company you're working with has a good offer and a good service. If the company you are working for, I can't stress this enough, doesn't have a good service and doesn't have a good offer, they're not going to make money no matter what. Now, you need to put this through their damn skull. If you know that the service and the offer is bad, maybe you should just suggest this. Like, let's say a mobile detailing company is, just doing a normal car wash or whatever they do, the lowest business model for mobile detailing for like 500 bucks. Maybe you could go ahead and offer them some sort of rewards program. You could offer them a free quote offer, just anything to get their business model up and running. You need to make sure that this service-based business has a good offer and has a good, service overall. You want to make sure that the company is also having a good setter, sales team, and everything like that. But you are just running their ads, right? You need to make sure that the company is taking care of everything else. So if you're running ads, to get a free quote or everything like that, and their service is actually good and they have an amazing offer, that's when you're going to print. And like I said, they're going to be more than happy to go ahead and give you that 2 to 3K retainer. But overall, with lead gen, the only metric you really have to worry about is the ROAS and the cost per lead. So I could show you guys this right here. We spent $500 to make $2 back. We spent $300 and got $2 meta lead, which is great. Again, this one's even better. We spent $472 and our cost per meta lead was 80 cents. But overall, those are the only metrics you need to go ahead and worry about. But that was everything on the ad side. Now that you guys know how to run paid ads, the hardest part about the business model is actually signing the client for lead gen, right? With e-com, it's pretty easy because you're not offering anything up front and it's a really good offer. With lead gen, you really need to go ahead and sell these guys. And this is where most of you guys sell the bag. Now, obviously, you know how to DM set, you know how to run ads, and you know how to get these guys on a call. But most of these guys are going to run away because you don't know how to close and you don't know the basics behind sales. And you'd be surprised how quick people will change into thinking that your service isn't worth it or you're a scammer just by the way you talk on the phone. Obviously, the goal is to get them on the phone as quick as possible. They do know what they're getting into. Now, sales, I'm gonna be honest, is 3 things. It's selling the product or the service, which is obvious. Selling you, they have to go ahead and like you. People aren't gonna buy from someone that they don't like. You have to sell them on yourself. You have to sell them on your confidence. And third, you have to sell them that they can actually do it. Once you master these 3 parts of sales and you ask them these questions to where they are sold on the product and the offer, they are sold on you, and they are sold on themselves, it's going to close every single time. Now, how do you do this? You have to treat them like a normal person, right? Once you treat them like a normal person, you're going to be completely fine. They're going to be less scared and they're going to be less hesitant. Now, how to make sure you don't seem like a scammer and everything like that on the sales call is within the first 60 seconds. Like I said, Don't get right into the sales part. You can't seem nervous and you have to be confident, right? Once you seem like you don't really care about getting the sale and you treat them like a normal person, you'd be like, yo, what's going on, bro? How's it going? How's your day? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's cool. I did this, this, and this. Oh, you're into that? Boom. For the first like 2 minutes, bro, you're not going to seem salesy. You're just going to seem like a normal person. And boom, you sold them on pitch number 2, which is selling them on yourself. They already like you because you didn't push it off too salesy. You didn't get into the pitch in the first 30 seconds. You know how to close. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and get into that. What you're going to say is, honestly, bro, I got a couple meetings after this, probably 30, 40 minutes. Is it cool if we get right into it? Obviously, they're going to say yes. Then you're going to go ahead and say something along the lines of this. All right, cool, bro. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and keep it nice and chill. I just want to ask you a couple questions, just to really see if I feel like I can help you out or not. If so, I'm going to go ahead, get you onboarded to the agency, and we can get started. Now, obviously, like I said, I was selling them on myself again. I keep it nice and chill. I just really want to see if I could go ahead and help them out or not. I'm not selling them anything yet, and I don't even know if I could go ahead and help them out or not. So they're more inclined to working with me because I made it seem more exclusive. They're going to be thinking, oh, whoa, what if I'm not qualified? What should I do? What should I do? Blah, blah, blah. Right? Now, next, you're going to just ask them questions about the business model, right? And like I said earlier, selling them on the 3 things. You need to figure out their biggest problem. Once you figure out their biggest problem, then that's when it is extremely easy to go ahead and close them. You could ask them questions like, how long has your brand been in business for? What have you been doing for work? How much do you have put aside for ads? What made you take action to hop on this call with me today? What prevented you from starting this business in the past? Why do you feel like you're where you're at right now? Do you have any goals coming into working with me? Let's just say you hate your goals. How would that impact your life? Now, you're not going to go ahead and read off a script and be like, what made you want to take action to hop on this call with me today? What do you want to do for work? What prevented you from starting in the past? No, bro. You need to have a normal conversation with them while checking the boxes and having these questions down. Once you ask them all these questions and once you figure out their biggest problem, that's when you go ahead and you get into the pitch. And you can be like, once you figure it out, and most importantly, how much money they have, you're going to be like, all right, cool, bro. I'm going to be honest real quick. I really do feel like I can help you out. Genuinely. I do feel like I can help you out. Because if you actually do feel like that, you can say something like that. And then you're going to go ahead and pitch. Boom, Joe, I would love to get you in the agency. What we do is we run paid ads for service-based businesses like yours, blah, blah, blah. This is how we do it, blah, 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 blah. And if you'd like, we could get you set up with SMS and email marketing as well, blah, 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 blah. Once they hear the pitch, they're gonna be like, okay, cool. That sounds really good. What's the catch or what's the price? And they're like, okay, before I get into the pricing, do you kind of have any questions or anything like that before we move on? More than likely than not, they're gonna have some questions or objections. You're gonna go ahead and answer them, make sure his head is clear. And then you're gonna be like, okay, this is what I offer. We just do a flat rate, $2,000 a month. That's it. I'm very confident I could get your business running and I feel like we could do this.